Are we recording now?
I'm recording.
Okay.
You're
I think
recording.
I'm recording. Yes, I'm
So I
recording.
think we're recording.
Okay. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Catherine, Christopher, Christopher,
Oh,
Catherine,
Jesus. Should we
Christopher.
start over?
No, that
Can
would
you
require editing.
editing? Yeah, don't edit. Let's just do like a straight through, no editing.
Oh yeah. Oh God, you would not like that.
Anyway, well, good morning. I thought I'd start this morning off on a light note.
Oh good.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
My dog died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. It was horrific. I was thinking about it because I just picked up his ashes and his little paw print. But
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Paw prints.
But yeah, I don't know why I got that done. I didn't know you had to bake it.
Oh, I thought they were already came baked.
No, it's half baked.
That seems like it's kind of half baked.
So anyway,
I think when Jennifer's my wife has always done that. I think it's always baked. I think they deliver it to the client when it was baked. That seems like a standard practice.
they didn't bake it because when she handed me that, she's like, "Don't drop that because it'll break." I'm like, "What?" And then I haven't been able to look at it. And then I looked at it, and there were directions on baking it, and I'm like, I don't even have the energy. But anyway, yeah. So he's off to puppy heaven.
So I guess your house is a little bit quieter now.
No, actually, the weird thing, not that we're doing any kind of spiritual stuff, but I heard him like coughing for like a couple days. And I don't know if it was my grief, but I mean, he had this little like Chihuahua congestive heart failure cough or something. And I actually heard him coughing. And my mom told me, she's like, I don't want to tell your dad, but I think I heard the dog. And I just like freaked out. And then my dad comes up like a day later. He's like, I don't want to tell your mom, but I think I heard Buddy.
Okay, so it's a group psychosis.
That went on for like 3 days. I'm like, just go to the light or whatever you need to do. I didn't want him around here looking for food or anything. And I'd taken up his water bowl and his bed and stuff. And I just really felt weird about it. And one of my friends who's a psychic, she wants to be on the show at some point. And she's a medium, and she said that she called me a couple days ago, and like after this happened, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I think you'll probably see him." And I was like praying to God I didn't see him because that would freak me out. But anyway, so I kind of released him. But yeah, anyway, on a happy note, that's all I wanted to say.
That was a lot to say, and I have notes for your psychiatrist.
Okay.
I guess. You know what? I've been thinking about this, Catherine.
Uh-huh.
I think I should sit in on your sessions
Oh no,
and just
no,
direct you.
I don't have a psychiatrist.
Well, what do you have? Don't you have some professional help?
Well, a lot of my friends are professionals.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess we're like local talent. Yeah,
You're just
Misha.
talking about Misha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. When we have her on the podcast, it'll be like me sitting in on one of your sessions.
Okay.
Then I can tell you what to say.
Okay. Oh God.
Not that I'm controlling. Not that I'm trying to control
you
this.
are a bit. What the hell?
I am, and I thought you just said you are bitch.
No,
And
bit, not a bitch.
No, you should. That totally would have been perfect. That's what you should have said.
Oh.
See, this is me controlling you.
See, there you go.
Stop playing with your hair.
I'm not playing with my hair. I'm just trying to find the Banksy article on my cell phone.
Banksy-shmaksy.
Oh man, do you just love Banksy?
I don't know Banksy. Who knows Banksy?
I don't know, but he came out in terms of being the perpetrator, shall we say?
Perpetrator?
I don't know, the artiste behind the staycation murals.
The painter?
Yeah,
Maybe
the
we could just
painter
say
Banks. I don't know. Perpetrator sounded kind of
the
harsh,
perpetrator.
but there, because he does the graffiti and all
The
that,
perp.
and he did all those little murals. Why can't I find the article I sent you?
I'm going to say this to you again. You got to send me, just do one email with all the links.
But that's not how my brain works.
Well, I don't care how your brain works. My brain works, I get one after another. Like, I feel like I'm getting shot in the head by a shotgun every 2 seconds for
gosh.
an hour as you bombard me with a barrage of email links.
Yeah, these came over a couple days, I think.
And you damn Apple people, you think everybody lives in your world. I have an Android phone, so I can't pull those messages up on my computer, which is where I do my, quote, work for the podcast.
Oh, you can't?
Which is why I prefer to have it in an email so I can open it on my phone, or I can open it on my computer. I can open it anywhere. If it's a text message, it only comes on my phone.
Oh, okay. I thought I emailed those to you.
No, that was That was That was a text message.
Oh, sometimes
we'll
I
sit
do.
down and I'll explain to you the difference between text messages,
Okay.
messaging, and email.
Oh, okay.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Actually, if we ever have merchandise, I do want to make a little T-shirt that says Doom Scroller.
Doom? What does that mean?
Doom scroll, like when you just start looking at the text and you're just like looking at all the news, and they call it doom scrolling.
Okay, I did not know that. I guess
Yeah.
I think that might need a graphic to go with it.
Yeah, like a little skull head or something. Maybe we could do it for Day of the Dead.
That might be nice.
That's it. That's our first merch. Oh, I said merch. My ass twitched again. Oh, God.
Oh, you don't talk about your ass.
Anyway.
Jeez, what's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
That
but
would be a good line, though.
What?
Did I tell you I was writing a? I am writing
I know.
sitcom.
What the hell?
I'm writing a sitcom. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth. This just was like nothing that was ever on my radar, even remotely.
So is this a challenge, a writing challenge? Are you throwing down like Bobby Flay?
I could see myself. I don't know who that is. I could see myself as being an actor because I'm so beautiful, but not
you're
a
okay.
writer. Wow. Thanks for the encouragement. I do apologize. We're doing this over FaceTime today, and I haven't showered in a couple days, and I recently got a haircut which isn't probably exactly compatible with my head.
It looks kind of K-pop. I was going to say that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you look like you're auditioning for BTS.
I am probably 35 years too old for that band. Also, the wrong gender.
Oh, my gosh.
Because I am not a boy, I am a man.
That sounds like lyrics to a song, but tell me more about your writing.
Oh, I can't. It's secret. I'm sworn to secrecy, and it's very important stuff. So I mean, you know, the old joke. I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Oh, I don't.
I
I'm
might
not
kill
ready
you
to
anyway,
die.
though. So maybe I'll tell
You're
you.
gonna kill me with like nonsense.
With technical jargon.
Yeah, with technical jargon.
Well, I was thinking. I hate to repeat it, but when you said your ass twitched, because that really does trigger me. It just sets me off, and
I'm sorry.
I thought, okay, it's bad for me to hear that, but that might be a funny thing, like if our spaceship said that, because it's a sci-fi comedy, because it's me. I do sci-fi. If Christopher asked me, hey, James, if you're going to write something, what would you write? If you're going to write a sitcom, I said, well, of course it'd be sci-fi. I didn't even think about it. It just came out of my mouth.
Weird. Wow.
So that's what we're writing. And so we were arguing about not arguing. We were discussing whether or not the spaceship, should have, a computer, an onboard computer with a personality. And I was thinking, it might be kind of funny if the ship would say, wow, you just made my ass twitch or something like that, because, a ship doesn't have an ass.
I think you should use that.
Well, we may have you do it.
Okay. Can I be the spaceship?
Well, that's the point.
Oh.
That's where I'm going with this, because I was thinking she's not going to fit in any of the roles of writing. But
what are the roles?
she's got
like
that really annoying voice.
Annoying? A friend texted
kidding.
me and said I have a good voice for radio.
That's nice. Yeah, your friend said that. No, but you also have that laugh, and it'd be nice if the spaceship would laugh at the people when they did dumb things.
Okay.
And you're kind of sarcastic, and I think you have an interesting voice, which might be kind of interesting to have on a sitcom sci-fi show.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay, so that's done. I'm shocked that it's about a spaceship.
That's just one part of it.
Oh, okay.
If this gets off the ground, hey, everyone should start listening to us now.
Right.
So that when I become a huge writer and producer, they can say, oh, yeah, I was listening to James way back before he even started his first TV show.
Okay.
So
that works.
That. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
come
there's
on.
that.
This is a fate. Oh, God damn it! I was trying to sound clever. What's that French phrase? A fete accompli?
Fete accompli. Yeah.
There you go. That's the other. We need you because you're the smart one. I think sometimes I get this idea that it's good to have at least one smart person in the room.
Yeah, I don't know that I qualify lately.
Well, it's all relative.
Yeah, I used to be smarter. I think the pandemic eroded my brain cells.
The pandemic on its own didn't do anything to you.
Yeah, it did.
Just stop wearing your mask and go out in public like all the other Arizonans.
No thanks. Let's get back to the sitcom.
Banksy.
No, I'm intrigued because I was like, when you mentioned that last night, and then I knew we'd kind of talk about it a bit, but I'm shocked that it's about a spaceship. I don't know why.
Well, it's not. That's just part of it. It's not about a spaceship.
Oh, okay.
But it's a sci-fi sitcom, and it happens in space, so they have to get around somehow, and they get around in a spaceship.
Okay. So, because I thought it'd be about like two guys having coffee during a pandemic, deciding to start a podcast.
It's a sci-fi show,
Oh,
and
okay.
we want people to actually watch it, so it won't be about us. I've already written. Initially, I just assumed I was going to be one of the cast members, but now I've completely written myself out. I have this whole huge cast now in my head, and it's, a complete fantasy. But
Okay.
wow,
Yeah.
I don't measure up in my own. Even in my own imaginations, I don't measure up.
Okay. Okay.
So I fired myself.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, the writing came up twice yesterday. I'm going to. I need to get my old dead iMac to the iMac store to get my. I had two books that I'd started on there, and one is like this little fantasy book. I don't know if you can see this picture on my iPhone. I'm sending this up. Oh,
I
you
can't see it.
Okay, there. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, I made a series of dolls. I made that.
That's very creepy.
I wrote a little poem about it, but it's all in my iMac, and it's supposed to be a children's story.
I don't want to hear any more about your iMac hard drive. You just need to go and do it now.
I know,
okay?
I know. I've been talking about it for a year now.
Just get a sticky note or something and put it on your phone, and the next thing you do, that should be the next thing you take care of.
I've got to get that stuff off there. Okay, so anyway, so sci-fi. So I'll be the voice of the
Before the gamma variant kills us all.
Oh God, gamma.
Or
Gamma?
omega. I guess it'll probably it will be the omega strain, really, that gets us.
Really?
Well, obviously it's Omega Man, right?
I don't
Did
know.
you see Omega Man?
I don't do sci-fi.
That was it's an old movie from the 70s with Charlton Heston. It's one of his really bad B movies.
Was it when he ran all the time?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Well, he was running a lot because he was running from, quote, zombies. They were the worst zombies I've ever seen on screen.
Oh, wow.
I think the whole entire budget for the film was about $3.
Really?
And two of those dollars went to pay Charlton Heston.
Oh.
Awful film. Really, genuinely awful film.
Yeah.
And it was remade into Legend with Will Smith, which is like you couldn't get any further apart.
Oh.
Not that Legend is a good movie, but not a great movie, but, budget-wise.
Yeah, it's not my genre. So what are we talking about?
Banksy.
Banksy. Yeah, Banksy. Go.
Me go? You're the one who brought it up.
No, I just thought it was funny because it was like something about like it looks like Banksy. There's had a staycation and wherever the hell I can't find. Yeah,
spraycation. You can't find your own links.
A spraycation. No, because I can't see. I slept on my glasses and I bent the side frame and now everything looks wonky.
I don't know why you sent me all those articles because a lot of them were repetitive, and the only one that was any good was the BBC article.
Okay.
I think the Smithsonian may have been. Let me see. Yeah, the Smithsonian was more specific on one aspect of it, so that was good too. Mm-hmm. The Guardian and whatever else. Art News, I think. Let me see what the
Art
other ones.
News, yeah.
See, I have these all queued up in preparation for our podcast.
I know. I was sleeping.
Because I am a professional podcaster. I'm
Yeah.
a professional art podcaster, Artcaster.
Artcaster, The Guardian.
Yeah, the Art News article was really pretty crummy.
Yeah, wasn't it? It was.
It was very short. It showed one of them. One of the BBC went through all of the ones that they found, all of the graffiti art that they found.
I thought it was cute.
They talked to the local councils. They talked to, quote, a specialist or an expert, which he didn't seem dumb, which is really unusual for an art expert not to be dumb. The Guardian was pretty awful, too. Sidetracked on the reporting of it. But the BBC article, which we will link to in the show notes, was by far the best.
Yes.
And I thought it was great. I don't really understand all of his work. I really enjoy his work.
I really enjoy his work.
But
I
don't
love it.
always understand it.
No. And then I was a little saddened. Like one of the articles I sent, people were like painting over it and stuff. And I thought that was like awful. But
yes. So there are a couple instances. I'm going to have to close my browser. I have all these tabs, these news sites open. Excuse me. I have all these news sites opened in different tabs. And they're running at just a stupid amount of ads, and it's burning up my computer.
Oh, no.
I had to quit Banksy.
Okay.
The ads on those goddamn websites are so... The internet is so bad these days.
Isn't it? I thought it was just me.
No, it's just you.
You've
ruined everything again, Catherine.
No, I thought it was just me. I'm like, why is everything you look at and it's like bam, bam, and just constant.
Everything wants to run a video in your face,
right?
And they're just inundated with ads, and not just lightweight ads, but ads with audio and video, and they want to move around, and it takes time for the ad to load into the page. So you're trying to read, and the page suddenly gets reposition because an ad knocks everything out of place.
Right.
Just want to start smacking people.
Oh, there it is. I texted you these articles. That's why I couldn't find them. The spraycation.
Well, that was my first rant. I was complaining about you texting
Okay,
me.
I shouldn't. I'm not. I haven't had enough coffee yet.
I'm sorry. I did start you out a little early today.
You did. And then.
Anyway, Banksy.
Yeah, back to Banksy.
So I really admire him and his work.
Yes, I do.
And surprisingly, because a lot of it is political, and I generally don't get off on political art because I usually find the commentary to be childish, immature, not really very relevant.
Okay.
And obvious, usually very obvious. It's like usually trying to clobber you over the head with some very pedantic idea.
Mm-hmm.
But his always seem like they're on the nose.
Right.
Or at least the parts that I understand.
I just like his work.
Why?
Because I think it's whimsical. It makes me happy. There's something about it that just makes me happy. It feels light. I sense movement. Like I'm staring at one with these two people, like on a like it's like they're hovering over a bench and they're holding hands, and kind of dancing. And it's one of the Getty images, and it's just so delightful. The one with the
we don't
pelican.
talk about Getty on this podcast.
Oh,
we don't acknowledge their existence.
Well, it just says Getty Images.
Getty, yeah, I don't. God, I hate it. Anyway, yeah, but that's an interesting point. I think that there's a lot of cleverness to his work.
Yes, it's clever, and like the one with the bird, like hovering over the trash can.
Yeah, it's clever in
loved
how
it.
he uses things around in situ, as they say, things around. So in that case, that he has a very large painted bird on the side of a building.
Yes.
That looks like it's trying to eat out of a dumpster, which is filled with big chunks of foam. So it looks like he's eating chips.
It's adorable.
So it's clever in how he uses the environment around the painting. It's clever in what he's saying with any given painting, like the rat that he did on his spraycation. He's got a rat sitting in a chair, kicking back, drinking a martini, but the martini glass is directly under a drain. So he's, drinking out the drain essentially. But it's a rat. But then there's also something intrinsically clever about how he's drawing his things too. It's hard to explain. It's more like a visual cleverness. It's just his things are really well executed. They're not that complicated. They're stencils, but there's a mastery of the craft there that's really apparent.
Yes, I just think it's brilliant. But anyway, I just wanted to send that to you. Because
you
I love Banksy.
Just send it to me. You wanted to talk about it.
Because I wanted to talk about it, yeah. And I love Banksy. And
you wanted to instigate a conversation because you're an instigator.
Right. And I hope that he never comes out. Like, I don't want to find out who he is. I like the mystery. It's like a Yeti.
Well, it is funny thinking about him. Apparently he did this spraycation driving around in a van, right? He was in a little camper van or something, just going up and down the coast. And that's kind of funny to think of this artist just randomly stopping and painting. And it's not random, though. I mean, he clearly plans his stuff out very carefully.
Yes.
Because he's got to create the stencils and he's got to get in there when nobody's watching, which is also kind of almost an inhuman feat.
Right, with all the CCTV things. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, seriously, it is. But that the rat in the drain one was one of the pieces that was vandalized. It's
going to happen. Things like that. I think, as I've said before, I don't consider art as something that should always last. It's not like Superman. It's not going to be around in 1,000 years. Every piece of work should die. That's just the lifespan of a thing. I think they're spending too much time trying to preserve these things. I mean, it's graffiti art. It's designed, or it's the essence. One of the essential parts of graffiti art is that it's in the environment and it will decay with the environment.
Right.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, but I just think
it makes sense. Yeah.
Well, and the local councils kind of lose their mind when they get one of these pieces because they start immediately putting up polycarbonate sheets over them to protect them, to preserve them. It seems like completely ass backwards because you're kind of denying the authenticity of it being a real graffiti piece. Because now you have to see it behind a piece of plexiglass.
Oh, I didn't know they did that. But what would be the purpose of defacing it? I mean, this was really cute.
You didn't know that because you didn't read the articles that you sent me.
I kind of skim read it.
You skim? Well, at least one of us reads your articles. Almost all the councils either reacted one of two ways. They either covered it over themselves, painted over it themselves, or they put up plexiglass barriers between, and they in some places they put a guard on them.
Oh my God.
I think that it's overreacting. He puts it up and he's gone. It's spray paint. I think the essential ethereal nature of graffiti art should not be denied or dismissed in this way. They're trying to preserve it for all time. If you want to preserve it, I have a really good way to do that.
Take a picture. Well, I'm glad someone took a picture of the rat because it's super cute.
Oh, I'm sure lots of people did.
I love it.
Yeah, if I was on the council, I would smack everyone down and just tell them to shut up. We're going to take a picture of it. We're going to put a picture. We're going to post a picture and a little plaque by where it was, just so we can commemorate it, and so people can see what it was like before someone else came around and ruined it.
Right.
Because that really bothered me. As you mentioned earlier, they'd be defaced. The rat one was kind of weird. Someone just came over and tried to paint over it, like were trying to erase it. I don't know what was going on with that person. The one that annoyed me more, though, was he has on a boardwalk. This is a sea town, and they have a boardwalk, and they have all those the arcade, I guess.
Right,
so they have one with a claw. So he's got this outside scene where he's got a bench where people sit down,
with the
and he
teddy
just
bears.
has no.
Oh.
He's got the claw that is right over the bench, and so the feeling you get is that the claw is going to come and start picking up people off the bench. It's really kind of brilliant. And then some asshole came and added teddy bears that looked like the claw was trying to grab the teddy bears, and it ruins the piece.
I saw the teddy bears. I was like, oh my God, yeah, because it
swear to
felt
God,
off.
I am so angry at that. If you are the asshole who did that, you better never come to Phoenix, because I will beat your ass. That's just so rude and so awful to do something like that.
Right.
It's not just the fact that they're defacing the work. They're trying to insert themselves into it and gain their own notoriety off of doing it. But they have clearly no idea what the work is about because they've completely ruined it.
They did ruin it.
It's not about teddy bears, you asshole.
No, it's not about teddy bears. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw the before and after, and it was dissonant.
Totally changes the nature of the piece, and it ruins it.
Yeah, it ruined it because that wasn't even whimsical. It was just stupid.
Well, it was a little bit whimsical, but it's the kind of thing that a second-rate, third-rate illustrator would think of.
Right.
Like if the council actually wanted to have some public art, that's the kind of thing they would come up with.
Right. Yeah.
Banal.
Oh,
that's what I would
God.
say. Banal.
Banal. I love that word. Public art. What are you gonna do?
Not spray over it?
Not
unless
spray
it's really
over
bad.
it.
Well,
Right.
if it's Banksy, I think you should respect it.
Yeah.
But not to the point where you cover it over with plexiglass.
Right.
And try to save it for all time. Of course, you should also not steal the wall that it's on. Do you remember that a few years ago that happened?
No, I don't.
I think it was a gallery in upstate New York somewhere. They were selling a Banksy, and Banksy sells work now sometimes. Mm-hmm. But when he was a graffiti artist, he was very, very popular. He was a big buzzword in the art world. He's, one of the top artists, I think, living artists. But it was hard to trade his work because they were on the sides of buildings.
Okay.
And they didn't know who Banksy was. We don't know who Banksy is. So, in an art gallery, I think it was New York, a wall with one of his paintings came up for sale. And people were like, what the hell is this? And they discovered that someone had literally stolen the wall that the painting was on and brought it to the United States and were trying to sell it.
Oh, for God's sakes.
It wasn't Banksy. It was Banksy's work, but he had nothing to do with the fact that they stole the wall and were trying to sell it. And I think it's happened several times since then.
Oh, my God.
And, this gets to a larger point, a point that you brought up really well about the lack of integrity, ethical and moral integrity of the art market.
Right.
And if anything needs more regulation, I think it really is the art market. Because there are a bunch of scammers and thieves in it. That's all it really is at the top of the market.
At the top of the market. I didn't know that. When you were talking about stealing a wall, I just started thinking of like Jean-Michel Basquiat because a lot of his work was, it was graffiti. What happened to that? I actually kind of am.
Yeah, because you keep mentioning him.
There's something about his work that I find mesmerizing.
Huh.
Even though when I look at it, 9 times out of 10, it makes not a lot of sense, but I just can't stop looking at it. And I really do like his work. I've always liked his
stuff. That's really weird because I can, almost as soon as I see it, I can stop looking at it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It just sucks me in, like in a really weird.
That's really weird. I think we're going to have to take a little deeper dive into that.
Yeah. I'll look at some stuff and there are some things and I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's like I don't know.
Email me a link. Email me a link of the pieces you find most interesting
Okay,
of him.
I will, and we'll talk about it another time. So yeah, the other thing I did find the text that I sent you. I don't know, the closet guy.
Oh, I totally forgot about him. What's his name?
Oh gosh, Joshua William Gelb. I found this
That is a good word for it. Fascinating. Well, please go on. Describe him. What are you talking about?
This performing, I get because the performing arts centers were closed during the pandemic. This gentleman turned a small space in his apartment in the East Village in New York City into theater in quarantine or quarantine theater.
Yes.
Yeah. He has like 90 hours on YouTube at least of like from him building the closet to these different performances. And now he's collaborating with different artists, and it's just, I found it fascinating.
So why don't you break it down a little bit more simply and explain what we're seeing when we go to look at his work?
Okay, we're seeing a white space, like I think it's like a 4x4 space, a small closet that he painted bright white, and then there's this guy in it doing different things. Like you'll hear a voiceover, and he'll act out parts, or he'll be balancing on a chair, or doing like kind of calisthenic, kind of balancing things against the wall. It's hard to describe.
So it's a little bit off the wall.
It's off the wall. It is off the wall. And I got onto his YouTube. I mean, I went down the rabbit hole on the YouTube channel. Yeah, I looked at several of them. I thought it was quite interesting.
I looked at a few of them, but they go on a little bit too long for my taste. Mm-hmm. And it's not really my cup of tea, but it was very interesting. He's taking a closet, a 4 foot by 8 foot by 2 foot space. I think those are the dimensions. And he's trying to come up with different routines or performances to execute in that space. And he's been collaborating with people, I think, all throughout the process.
Yeah, I think,
he has works that are more play-like, as I didn't watch those because they were too long. But then he has all these more, I guess you would call them abstract dance routines.
Right.
Not really dance. I mean, essentially, I think the place where this starts is mime. I mean, he's using the art form of mime as a way to interact with the space. Mm-hmm. So he's got some clever ways where looks like he's tilting the space, but he's not tilting the space. So he's miming out different scenarios.
Right.
And so it's a combination of mime and dance and acting. And he's used this little space, and that's one of the interesting things about creating creative work is that if you the more restrictions you put in place, sometimes the more creative you can be. So, what can you do in such a small space? Usually if you're a theatrical person, you have a huge stage. I don't even know how big a stage is. It's like 20 or 30 feet wide by 20 feet deep or something like that. And you have, 30 feet above you. This is literally in your closet.
Right.
So it certainly puts a lot of constraints on the creative process.
How did it make you feel when you looked at some of his videos?
I was visually interested, but it didn't really hit me in any way. I think it was a very interesting thing to do, and I think I applaud him for his effort.
Oh yeah.
And for his work, it didn't really do much for me. That's my own thing. I'm not trying to degrade his work. I think if there's a person out there who falls in love with the work, I can understand that.
Right. I found it really intriguing and very creative, but there was also a part of me that I think I was responding to the space and like the isolation. And after this, 18 months, it was just a really in your face, like almost like a documentation of this pandemic, like people trying to, I've talked to so many people, via Zoom or telephone, whatever. I don't interface with that many people, who've come into their own or done different things during the course of this experience we've collectively encountered because we're forced to. And it just kind of was like this really graphic, almost depiction of this time. Someone trapped in this little 4x4. Not that he's trapped. I mean, he chose this, but like a 4x4 space.
Well, he is trapped in it, though.
Right.
This is a guy who I don't remember the exact line they said, but he's something about he was very wrapped up. He was entranced or overwhelmed by theater. So his whole life was theater. Mm-hmm. And now he's completely separated by theater, and yet he's created his own space.
Exactly.
Out of desperation or creative necessity, he creates a space where he can recreate a theatrical experience.
Right. And I think that's what I was responding to more than like when you read something by Kafka or, the other things that were going on. It's like overridingly, and irrespective of what I was looking on the YouTube, and I went through at least a dozen, if not more, of his YouTube videos that I came away with the same feeling of that isolation.
Well, I think that's in the work.
Yeah, that it's just, and it was just an overriding feeling. And I just really liked it, but it part of it was painful.
One of the questions they pose in the New York Times article is, and I couldn't read the whole article because it's the New York Times, and I can't. I'm sorry. It's not in my DNA to be able to read the New York Times because it's too pretentious or just wrong. I don't want to get into the New York Times. But
Don't
anyway,
get into it. Yeah.
one of the essential questions is this going to? Do we need this after the pandemic? Is this just a pandemic fluctuation that we no longer need? I think it transcends the pandemic. I think the work he's doing is interesting and unique. And like I said, I think it transcends it. It may have been spurred by it, but if he does this for the next 20 years, I think he will be following a valuable path. Mm-hmm. Even though it doesn't really resonate with me, that's why I respect it. I see this as being something valuable that he's doing. And regardless of the pandemic, this is its own body of work.
It really is. It really is. Probably one of the more interesting articles I came upon.
Yeah, it was worth reading, which again, is kind of unusual in the New York Times.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I will say this for the New York Times. I think they have a fantastic layout. As per all the negative things I was saying about the other websites being drenched in horrible advertisements and bad layout, New York Times has always been a really well laid out website. They know what they're doing when it comes to creating a news website. They've always been the best.
Well, I read the Times.
Kudos to them for always having top level web design.
Kudos. Yeah, I read the Times, and this morning in the Times, I noticed that they always track the pandemic, and there's like a little picture of the United States, and Arizona turned from like a kind of a weird shade of orange to like a bright, almost red.
Yay, that's good, right?
No, it's bad. Like overnight, I think we skipped 2 colors. They've got all these gradations of like yellowish to orangish to like almost red.
We're so far ahead of everyone.
We're in the red zone. We're in the red zone. Yeah.
We're killing it.
We are killing it. We are killing it, and not in a good way. So you asked me at the beginning of these podcasts, or maybe not on the podcast per se, but you said, are you going to wear a mask forever? And I think my answer definitively is yes. There you go.
Great. Maybe we should print up some masks for you.
We should print up something. We're going to have a meeting, a merchandise meeting.
I'll let you run that one.
Okay. I've been looking at it.
All right. Well, I think we got it wrapped up.
I think we got it wrapped up. You have a great day.
Thanks. You too, Catherine.
Okay. Take care, James.
Bye, Christopher.
Bye, Christopher.
I don't know. What am I saying? Who cares?
Bye.